Hi, my name is Obi Pascal from Obi Tech Invent. In this video tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to use VS Code to create your own snippet so that you can work on your project faster using code snippets instead of retyping everything all over and all over again. So I'm going to show you how you can use VS Code to create a snippet, and then whenever you want to type you can just use a shortcut like TLC and it could automatically pierce that snippet in your code. On this tutorial we're going to focus on the language called PHP. I hope all of you are all familiar with the language PHP. So let's hop in. If you like the video, please hit subscribe and like. Don't forget to share to your friends so that they could also benefit from it. All right, then I have created a project called VS Code Snippet. And in this project, in order for us to create a code snippet in PHP, you're going to navigate to File, look for Preference. Down Preference, you will see User Snippets. Now click on User Snippet, search for PHP. Oh, it looks like we've already created one. Yes, it's going to generate a snippet file. This is an example and a description telling you on how to create your own snippet file. Now we have this example body here. We are going to uncomment it. By default it came with this write-up. So this section I'm going to explain each section and what that does in detail. Now the first section here is like a key identifying this fragment here of the JSON file. Now, this section here is the entire snippet itself that is going to appear. Now, here is a shortcode that you normally type on your project, maybe like TLC. Then the snippet will pop up, and when you hit enter, it's going to pierce the snippet. Yeah, the prefix section is actually a place where you define your shortcode. And this print to console is the name of the snippet itself entirely. Now the body is where you define lines of code. For example, each line here represents a line of code in your file. For example, console.log, and then when you hit tab, it's going to move to the next line, which is this one here, the next line. Yeah. Now the variable, the $1 and $2 continuously is for tab stops. It shows you where, for example, if I could say something like this, let me create something like uh, I'm going to say, now in order for us to write a PHP file, or you want to pass a $sign, something like in normal PHP, you want to do something like this. You want to say variable equals to, let's say, 1, right? In order to do that in the snippet file, you have to escape the $sign. Remember, VS Code itself uses that $sign to declare variable for tab stops. But if you say var equals to 1, and we say, let's call this TLC, and then we name our snippet to my snippet, and the description, my first code VS Code snippet in PHP. Now, make sure you close this. Let's get rid of this for now. I will show you on how to integrate that later. Alright, we're all set. Now we're going to come to it's good. I'm going to see TLC. There, you see that? My first code snippet. And then when you hit, you see that? It came with a variable. Why? Because you have to escape the $sign. You need to escape that $sign in order to have something like this. So let us do that, and then you see the output immediately. Now we have to write double $sign and then press save the file. Oops. TLC. See that? Yeah, good. So in the next action, what we are going to do, we are going to create a class file and populate some example files to it. Watch along and learn how to do that. Now I'm going to show you, for example, like I said before, that each index of the body in the array represent a line. So we are going to print. Now look at something like this in PHP. Class. Look at this. See? It highlights this, the name. Now, when you type along, uh, my my class, and you hit tab, it highlights the extends and another class. If you still hit tabs again, it highlights another class, and then you can say extend class. And you hit tab, it highlights the implement interface. You still hit the tab again, it's going to highlight the interface. Say my interface, isn't it? Yeah. Now look at the way he pairs these lines and everything. How do we create these snippets and populate our own code inside the snippets? Well, we are going to learn that in this tutorial, and it will help you code your project faster. Instead of typing everything all over again, you could just create your own snippet and use a shortcut, and it will just pierce everything right inside your project. Okay, let's do that. Now, let's go back to a file. Like I said, each index in the array here represent a line. For example, if we want to create something like this, we can declare that right here, and then we move to the next line to create something like this, and then this. And if you want to give space, you can give that. We're going to do that now. Now, let's create it. We're going to say class. Now, in order for us to make the cursor highlight the text, we are going to do something like dollar sign, open bracket, we say one column, my class, class name, uh, extend. Let's just demonstrate this first. Class name, uh-huh. Now, you might want to ask me, why am I putting this column and why is this? Now, let me explain this fragment first. Now, in this fragment, what we are trying to do, we are saying create a snippet called class and then pass in the initial default variable called class name. If the user intends to leave this, leave it like this. But if he types anything, clear the class name and enter whatever the user wants to add as a variable. So this class name, this area here is defining a variable, and the default value for that variable is class name. Now the next section is we are going to define the opening tag of the class. The next line, we are going to leave it empty. The next line, we are going to close our class. Now, in order for us to make sure that whenever you type the name, you hit the cursor and it goes into the middle, the body of the class, we have to define something like a dollar sign two. You see, that was what was here before. So we are going to do that. So as soon as you type here, you hit tab, the thing will move down here and focus here. You can start typing your code. All right, let's save the file and go back to now. What's the name of our snippet? Is TLC. Hit that. See that? It's highlighting our class. All right, then that's good. We're going to say VSC snippet. You see that? The cursor went exactly in the middle of our class. So we can start typing everything. But what if you want to initialize it with kind of a function or something like, okay, this is my controller. I want to say something like public function index, index, and then params or whatsoever you want to declare null. So you want to do something like this. You don't want to be typing this all over again. You just want to do it once. When you do it once, that's all. So when you want to just say TLC, it will just pierce everything like this. So now let's do that. Let's implement that. Now let us go a step further to extend our class and define a method inside the code snippet. Now in the body, we are going to still give it another space in the body. We are going to say public function. Remember, you're also going to rename the index file, isn't it? But if you want to leave it that way, you can just say index, open this, and close your tag, and then focus to, right? Right. Save it, and then TLC on the floor. See that? my class name, and then it's focusing right inside a method, right inside a method. See that? All right, then in this video, we were able to learn how to create a code snippet with PHP in VS Studio. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. You can like for example, a kind of a function you so frequently typing it all over again that has a kind of the same structure. You might just like create a code snippet in PHP and give it any name you want. Any name you can just go down to the next one and still create the same thing. Duplicate this. Create a different type of code snippet that you're so familiar with. You can do that for a dozen, depending on how you want to use them, depending on the kind of use case, or depending on the section of code that you like. You like replicating the code. You can create as many as you want and name them accordingly. Just follow the syntax. Like if you want to define variables, maybe you want to pass arguments to this function, you can say params equals to new. Okay, now we are going to say DLC. See that? It passed in the parent for us, and everything is working perfectly. Alright then, if you like this video, please don't forget to hit like and share the video to your friends. It could help your fellow developers to actually code fast with their project. Thanks for watching my video, and please don't forget to subscribe.